Back to my channel. My name is Trish and I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please click to subscribe. Now today we're going to be talking about hypnosis in the context and application of hypnotherapy. Now this is something that I have personally tried, and so I'm going to be speaking to my experience in hypnotherapy, and hopefully it is helpful for any of you who have been interested in it or are curious about it. It is a different approach than traditional talk therapy, and I found it to be extremely helpful in my mental health journey. So I thought that I would share a little bit about what my experience was like and how it worked for me. Now to kick off this video, I do have a music video premiere to attend tonight, so I'm going to be doing a bit of a brown smoky eye using the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette. So if you are only here to hear the hypnotherapy portion of this video, you can jump to the time indicated on the screen. And if you'd like to stick around to see how I create this chocolatey, smoky eye for the premiere tonight, then hang out for this first part because we're going to jump right into it. So I don't have anything on my skin right now except for a primer, and I did just use my Truly lip balm, my favorite one. You guys know Unicorn Fruit. Okay, so to get started, I am going in with the Nars Sheer Glow foundation, and this is in the color Punjab. I'm not sure how I feel about that name, but apparently this is my color. Punjab. So I'm gonna go ahead and dot this all over my face and then use a little brush to blend it in. And the brush that I'm going to use to blend, by the way, is the BH Cosmetics number 4. It's this nice, soft, angled brush. I purchased the Nars Sheer Glow foundation because I compared it directly with the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation. And that's the one that I was there to buy. I liked this one better, and it's about $20 cheaper than the Giorgio Armani one. So that was nice. All right, now that I have that on, I'm going to just add a little bit of dimension back to my face with this Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. And I'm going to use the middle shade here. It's kind of like a taupey gray. As you can see, I really like it because I have hit pan on it, so let's go with that. And to buff this in, I'm using the BH Cosmetics number 2. Alright, cool. Now that that is done, we can do concealer. So I am using the Tarte Shape Tape. This is, I think it's the best concealer I've ever used, actually. I really fought it for a long time and was like, I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to try other ones. And I don't know why there was a feeling of defiance, but there was. And I'm in the color light medium beige. So I'm a beige bitch. And so, yeah, this stuff's great. It's got a really nice doe foot applicator. I do also kind of use concealer as a eyeshadow base, so I put a little bit on my lids before I apply my shadow. Okay, so let's jump right into the eyes, and today I am going to use the Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, and it has really cute, really cool packaging. And then the palette itself looks like this. So there's some really pretty colors in here. Also, it smells like chocolate, which I love, but I'm also like, what chemicals did you put in there to make this thing smell like chocolate? So, to get started, I'm going to use my little Morphe M504 fluffy brush, and we're just going to lay down a nice base with the color So Bougie, and it's this little like taupey one right here. And I'm taking this just all over the lid. Next, I'm going in with the color Cocoa Truffle, and it's this chocolatey brown one right here. And I'm kind of like over-exaggerating and drawing out the almond shape of my eye with that darker Cocoa Truffle color. Next, I'm going to go in with this color called Love and Cocoa, and I'm going to place that on the outer corner of my lid. Now I'm going to take that same color, Love and Cocoa, and I'm going to bring it under my lower lash line. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to create a little bit of a wing, and I would like to do it with eyeshadow tonight because I don't want to wear kind of a, I don't want to wear a liner, like a liquid liner, so I'm going to just do it with eyeshadow using my little BH Cosmetics number 9 angled brush. And this brush is really nice for just creating a more subtle shadowed wing rather than one with a wet liner. So I'm going to go in with the color Decadent, and it's this muted matte black. And I'm going to just kind of blend everything out a bit and soften any harsh lines. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to put on some mascara. This is the Large Lash Mascara by Pixie. You've seen this one before. And I'm going to do bottom first and then top. Okay, I think I'm going to have to get a new one of these soon because it is finally starting to dry up a little bit, but you know, still gives you some decent lash for mascara. I'm going to set my brows with my Kaja Brow Blowout. You know the drill. Okay, so now we can finish up with some blush and highlighter and lips. And so for blush, I'm going to use the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur. This is such a nice blush. It just, it's so nice. You guys, seriously, this is like probably my favorite blush I've ever purchased. So I am going to take this on the BH Cosmetics number 3. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of powder first, and then apply my highlighter on top of it, just because I don't want the powder, when I do it, to wipe away any highlight. And so just taking my Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder on a beauty blender and setting my makeup. And I'm going to use my Morphe E41 brush to just dust off all of this powder. And once that's done, we can finish up with a little bit of Stila highlighter. This is my favorite highlighter right now, and it's just very pretty. So I'm actually just going to take this on my finger and apply it that way. And I'm going to take a little bit of this and apply it in the corners of my eyes. And to finish this look, I'm using my favorite lip pencil right now. This is the Chantecaille Lip Definer in the color Tone. Okay, so this is the finished makeup look for tonight's music video premiere. And now we can get into the discussions on the mental health topic of hypnosis for hypnotherapy. And this is something that I tried earlier in the year. I had done a little bit of research on it and found someone online who I had read a number of her reviews, and she sounded just very reputable and good at what she does. So first of all, hypnotherapy is a different type of therapy. I've tried traditional talk therapy, and I think that that certainly has its own benefits. I've gotten a lot of value out of traditional talk therapy in the past. But this time around, I just happened to be looking for something that was a bit more targeted and short-term and acute to address some of the feelings that I was experiencing. As I said, I found this person online. She was very highly rated and reviewed. And so I felt just safe to give it a try. Hypnotherapy uses, obviously, hypnosis as the main part of the strategy, and it uses hypnosis to target specific instances in your life, specific traumas from your life, and it taps into a more subconscious level of your brain in order to kind of rewire the way that you are currently reacting to those acute or prolonged traumas. So you could go into hypnotherapy with the objective of treating or rewiring a prolonged trauma, something that happened time and time again, and that there were many instances of it. You could also go into hypnotherapy for an acute trauma, something like a car accident or something that happened one time and has left you and your nervous system with a particular emotional, physical response to that acute trauma, and you want to correct it. So it's really good for stuff like that. And I think one of the misconceptions that I had about it was that I was going to go into it and not remember anything and kind of feel like I blacked out or was, you know, out of control in some way. And I never found that to be the case. And I also haven't heard that from anyone else that I've heard of going to hypnotherapy or having read any of the reviews. It's really more of a deep, deep relaxation to the point where you are able to talk about, think about, tap into the specific situation or multitude of situations that led to the acute or prolonged trauma. And you, with the help of the hypnotherapist who is guiding you and kind of talking you through it, can start to draw healing from that place. A big part of my experience with hypnotherapy was what took place between sessions. I did about 6 or 8 sessions, which I think is kind of the typical recommendation. And in between each of those, I was given homework or little exercises to practice. So for example, I was given certain mantras to say to myself 3 times over every morning, every evening, that were intended to encourage healing in the area of the particular trauma that we had addressed or uncovered during the previous session. I found these in-between session exercises to be really critically helpful in the entire process of healing. And I also had some just really cool experiences during the actual sessions. For example, my sister was pregnant at the time of my very first hypnotherapy session, and during my session I met her unborn child, and they didn't know the sex of the baby until it was born much later, and I met a little girl, and my sister's baby ended up being a little girl. So I actually met her and spoke to her before she was ever born, before we knew she was a she, and that was really cool and just a really special experience. I think a lot of the sessions also made me kind of revisit the little girl within myself and speak to her with a lighter heart and with just more kindness. One of the really, really beneficial practices that came out of hypnotherapy was, for me, was like the question of, would you talk to 4 or 5-year-old Trish the way that you just talked to her now? And that one really hit me hard. I think I've said this or alluded to it in a prior video, but I think the child within all of us is the one who carries the light, the one who carries the creativity, the one who carries the adventurousness and the inventor in us, and all of these amazing childlike wonderment qualities that we all have as children. And then for a lot of us, that light and curiosity and wonderment kind of gets stamped out and squashed. And so going deep into my subconscious in hypnotherapy and being able to talk to that little girl again and talk to that child again who possessed all of those qualities unapologetically and learn from her, that was really valuable and something that I'll always carry with me now as a very important lesson, to not lose that and not let go of her again, because she's still in there and she's still a driving force and can be a driving force in my life and my quality of life. And so that was another really profound experience that I had in hypnotherapy. Now, I happen to be in there healing more emotional traumas, not so much physical. I know a lot of people do also go to hypnotherapy for physical traumas, and have found a lot of relief from chronic pain, headaches by doing so. One of the techniques that my hypnotherapist used with me for healing emotional trauma was to actually kind of walk backwards using regression therapy until I find myself in that moment in time where the emotional trauma took place, and to actually forgive the person who caused the trauma. And that was really difficult to do, to find myself back in that place, in that mindset, in the very situation that I was in when the trauma occurred, and to embody myself in that time and place, engage with the person who caused the trauma and apologize to them right then and there. That was powerful. I recommend anyone to try regression therapy under hypnosis, or regression therapy in general, as a way of letting go of a lot of anger and resentment and any other negative emotions that you are carrying around with you on a day in and day out basis, whether or not you recognize that they're there daily. If you haven't gone back and actually reconciled that trauma with yourself and with them in your memory, I would highly recommend you to at least try it, because I found it to be really profound and release a ton of emotional weight off my shoulders. So hypnotherapy is really about kind of letting that initial guard down, that initial barrier, right, between us and our memories and our traumas. And it goes just beneath that layer to tap into those traumas and those memories and allow you to allow your brain, really your subconscious, the relief that it needs and deserves in order to move on. So there's kind of a level of reprogramming, if you will. I found that hypnotherapy paired really, really nicely with microdosing as well, because they just kind of went hand in hand in the whole rewiring of my thought patterns. So as I said, hypnotherapy can be used for an acute trauma. It can be used for 1,000 little paper cuts, little tiny instances that happened year over year, time and time again, that have kind of added up to this bigger burden in your mind that you're dealing with. So it's a very versatile treatment, and I was very skeptical. I did not believe myself to be someone who could be hypnotized, and quite frankly, in all of my 6 or 8 sessions that I went, I never had an experience where I didn't remember, anything that had happened after she counted me down, or where I felt like I completely transcended my subconscious and was so far and away that she could have controlled my every movement or something like that. But it also didn't have to be that deep for me. I went deep enough to address the things that I was there to address, and I was able to let down my guard enough and relax enough to let her into my subconscious, and so that we could go in and kind of identify and tackle these traumas together, and she could kind of coach me through it and coach me through being back there in that memory. There's understandably a lot of questions around hypnotherapy and skepticism, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think, as always with any treatment, do your homework, make sure you know who the provider is, that they have legitimate reviews and that they have a reputable practice, and that you feel safe and comfortable with them. Of course, you absolutely should. If you find that person, then I say why the hell not try it, because I think that there's a lot of potential in it to help people with a very wide variety of mental trauma, whatever that may mean for you. So that's my experience with hypnotherapy. I hope that you found this helpful. And if you have any questions about my experience, I'm more than happy to answer those. Also, if you are in the Austin area and you are interested in the specific hypnotherapist that I went to, please shoot me a message. I'm more than happy to share with you my practitioner. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this makeup look and the talk on hypnotherapy. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and click to subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every week. And with that said, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.